It's got to take us live. We have a screen tonight and we couldn't get that working, but we are on.
Okay. So whenever you're ready. Ready? Yeah, we'll call or the meeting of the TSPLOST Oversight Committee meeting, May 19th, 25. Roll call. I'm Frank Platt, Chair. Jamal Chambers here. Jen Kelleberg, here. Andrea.
Here.
Bob.
Yeah.
Osno. Alan Jones.
Yeah.
Darryl McManus. And Jeremy Field.
Present.
Okay, we have a quorum. And we have minutes from the April 21st, 2025 meeting to be approved. If anybody has read through those, I'll set the motion to approve. Okay,
Second.
was that Ellen?
Yeah.
And then Andrea, second? All in favor? All opposed? Keith?
All right. Thank you. All right. Appreciate y'all being here tonight. We've got two project concepts for y'all to look at. The first is Project 5, the Prince Avenue Jefferson Road corridor. As you may recall, this is a continuation of the TSPLOST 2018 project. And since the 2018 committee had set the limits for their project from Pulaski to Sunset. This one runs from Sunset to the county line, and we have Diana Jackson with us tonight to go over those concepts. So turn it over to her and let her talk about the concepts.
All right. Well, so as Keith said, this is looking at it from Sunset out to the county line. We did a traffic study. GDOT also, Georgia DOT also has done studies, road safety audits. We used the traffic studies, the road safety audit, Athens in Motion, and some other work that was done early on for the Prince Avenue corridor to kind of generate our project concepts. Okay, and then we kind of tried to categorize them. We also looked at some of the crash study, or some of the crashes that have happened out there. And then GDOT also has a project that is supposed to let in October of 2026. And that is signal upgrades at 5 locations. So that's at Homewood, at Trinity and Country Club, at Cathwood, at Jefferson River, and Whitehead Gambler.
Okay.
And so they're going to be doing signal upgrades, you do mast arms and stuff, as well as ADA ramps. And so we have some potential overlap with GDOT, but if we get these approved, then we will reach out to GDOT and try and figure out how we can coordinate. So we're not doing something to be undone than to be redone. Okay. So if you, attachment 1 is this colorful little sheet. We broke them into the must-haves, highly wanted, and nice-to-haves. I should back up a bit. We have 5 residents and 4 staff, 4 or 5 staff. And so we basically did everybody got to vote and to prioritize. And so what you have on this colorful thing, we have 3 must-have projects and 3 nice-to-have projects, and the rest are highly wanted. And as you can see at the very bottom, we've got $35 million worth of projects. Okay, you have 6 million, 6.5 million, really in the project budget for construction and contingency. So that's really what we can do with the must-haves. The must-haves are improvements at Jefferson Road, Jefferson River Road, which could potentially dovetail. It's on the next sheet behind that. There's a schematic of that. There'll be some right-of-way required to basically widen that road to give us a right in onto Firefighter Court and left onto Jefferson. You'll see that a lot of the crash, if you look at some of that crash information I provided, the rear ends and side swipes that are happening on these roads. So it requires some traffic signal upgrades, some right-of-way encroachment, and it's 1.75 million right now. But again, we would meet with GDOT because they are planning signal improvements at that intersection. And maybe that we can combine projects with them. I will note one other thing that you'll see in that project R2 sheet, this photograph thing, is that the northbound lanes, or the ones that are going from right to left on the figure, there's a CSX railroad. So we really can't do anything to widen the road on that direction because CSX is CSX. Okay.
Let me interject something here. Can help me out on it. What is actually starting, say, what is that up there where Publix is?
That's named Lavender.
That's Lavender Road. From Lavender Road coming into town, what are the speed limit variations up there?
So they're,
That is almost like a racetrack. That's some speed there. Asking people.
That accident.
That's the land too.
Possibly.
Yep. And its speed is normally the cause of it.
But I don't see various coming.
so the speed varies throughout the corridor, and I don't think I included that in one of the figures.
It's 45 right before you get to Publix in the
When you
way.
drop down, coming in 55 to 45.
From 55 to 45, and I don't think it's, I think it's 40 all the way to.
Yeah.
But it goes down to 30,
Yeah, but they don't. Not,
but maybe at sunset, you know?
My question, I didn't see anything, maybe I put it wrong, about in area.
The concrete median. So that's some things that have been talked about. And in fact, Commissioner Fisher brought that up at the work session. So we just have that, and GDOT didn't have it in theirs, but it is something we could consider. As far as making people want to slow down a little bit because it feels like a tough spot, right? And then, so that's project R2. Project R3 is on the next two sheets, and those are right in, right out restrictions. At Camac, at Putters, and at Kinder Morgan driveway. And I have had contact with Kinder Morgan, talking to them about it. And so those projects combined are about $200,000, is not a lot to them. And then the final project is, and I'm sorry that this did not copy well. We did get you something else, but it's missing a lot of data. But it's basically a sidewalk improvement project from Jefferson Road on Old Jefferson Road.
Which form are you looking at? I'm sorry.
So it's the next one behind,
It's Project Art. Oh,
it's called M2-1, sorry, yes.
It's one that looks like Swiss cheese. The package you got PDF email probably has a good image in it, something in the translation for the computer to the printer. Didn't come through, but online version looks right. But printed version doesn't.
So it's 3,900 feet of sidewalk improvements to enable people to walk along Old Jefferson Road. It starts at Homewood Drive and goes up to Jefferson River Road. There's actually 3 phases of it, but this is the first phase.
So it's a 3-foot sidewalk, not a 5-foot.
It's a 6-foot sidewalk, I think is.
So it's like a multi-use path.
It's not a multi-use path. Multi-use path would be maybe 10 feet. But a 6-foot wide, I think is TPW standard these days.
But it's just a sidewalk.
Okay. So the cyclists that are currently using Old Jefferson Road, they wouldn't be on that.
not if it's not a multi-use path.
They would be discouraged from using it. There are other projects in the list that didn't make the must-haves that have more bicycle type stuff associated with them. But this was something, so Daniel Sizemore's on our group too, so it's the bike tech coordinator. And he was okay with it because it's pedestrian connectivity, you know, and it's getting a safe place for the pedestrians to be able to walk along that corridor. Because they don't really have anything right now. And along with that would be some transit stops, working with transit. It'd be a sidewalk and transit thing. The transit improvements could start down at Sunset Drive and go all the way up to Jefferson Road, Jefferson River Road, with a bus pull out actually on Jefferson Road. So there's about, I think that there's 10 or 12 bus stops paired, like transit likes to have them, because we can't put a bus stop on the Jefferson Road because of the CSX right of way. We're putting it on Old Jefferson Road and having crosswalks enabling them to cross over to get to things. And so that's a $3.5 million project. The idea would be to break them into sub-project one would be R2 and R3, which would be the intersection improvements at Jefferson and the right and right outs, because they would be basically a contractor would be working basically within the dot road kind of thing to make these improvements. So it'd be one type of contractor versus the Old Jefferson Road could be a different type of contractor that doesn't have to deal with GDOT. So that would be how I would break it up, but I think it makes sense.
I see one improvement that I like is that a new right turn lane off of Jefferson Road onto Whitehead. That's it can be a pretty things are kind of interesting, challenging. Yeah, but I see that a new turn lane is.
For R1, yeah.
Proposed there,
And
that's a good thing. But I see a new crosswalk added there too for pedestrian. I wouldn't bet my life my own way across the street there. It's just, I'm saying this as a citizen, it's just
Right.
too much speeding on Jefferson Road.
Right.
Never, more populated, so then you have more things popping up in the area, and then you have traffic.
And then you add the traffic into that, it's,
You have youth. It's, there more students over there now.
it's a
And
challenge, yeah.
and then you have the new development that's like going into Homewood, and then the other one on Old Jefferson too.
So we have like a harmonica type thing, just, well, accordion, it all bobbles up right off the bypass and then it expands out. If you had the tankers on the other side,
Right,
they pull out, then that's the bigger issue because
right, because it's a designated GDOT truck route.
That's right.
Any other questions?
It's improvements.
Right.
You know,
And this whole concept would then be kind of like a master plan. So when more money became available, I know that there's TSPLOST 2026, that some of the people that did the 2023, they put money in for like $11 million. So they just continue to work down this entire
I guess
list.
my question would be, what is the ultimate goal from, say, the county line inward? What is the ultimate goal for that Jefferson Road?
The ultimate goal is to make it a safer corridor for all users, right? And so the residents that live out there, their biggest concern is speed and intersection safety right now. But they also feel like, you know, they need to do something for pedestrians because there needs to be connectivity. Not everybody has a car, right? So that's why we did the transit and the sidewalk to enable people to get to various destinations.
Yeah, it's just a bummer that Publix is on one side of the road and you've got to have the sidewalk over on that other side that goes by. I mean, there is a grocery store over there. I guess there's I don't forget the name of it, and the one that's, yeah, it's just, but there's no like crossing then to get them back over.
Right, you get there's a Hispanic grocery store, there's the Dollar General that's out there.
those sidewalks walking the street.
Yeah, so you get out there and then you're at, I guess, like where Oak Grove and all that is, and then you've got to get them back across the street to actually connect to probably affordable food.
Right.
Okay.
We're looking for y'all for confirmation that the concept as Diana has presented meets the intent of the project statement that is on page 7 of your package, 7 out of 7. Facts and issues number 1.
I'm disappointed that they're separating out the sidewalk as a project and then the multi-use path as a highly wanted project afterward, because basically in this town, once you build a sidewalk, they don't build a multi-use path in the phase 2 very frequently, but it does meet the description, so it does meet the description as a nomination.
So, yeah, you want to, ready for?
If you get a motion, do we have a second?
Yeah, do I have a motion? Okay, and, we got a motion, Alan, and then a second by all in favor? All opposed?
All right, so I think y'all, hopefully y'all remember Ricky from last time. Second package starts on page 44 of 57. And this is the project concepts for North Athens transportation improvements. And this is project statement that we're looking for confirmation of this meets is page 25 with the fact that it's 1. That we can describe the project concepts.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Rick, who's on?
Y'all were real nice to me last time.
Yeah. We gotta make up for it.
No, we're gonna keep in the good spirit.
You should have said.
I'm gonna read the initial part of the initial project statement just for the minute. So this program will provide capital funding for additional transportation improvements in North Athens area. Depending on actual costs and funding availability, improvements may include but are not limited to traffic studies, sidewalks, crosswalks, multi-use trails, traffic signals, pedestrian and street lighting, waste receptacles, transit improvements, greenway trails and connectors, bridge replacements, and/or safety improvements. All right, what you have before you is the agenda packet, history, and then a package of projects for the program. You said it's not in there? Okay. All right. So I've got the slides in my thing. So I'm gonna describe them to you as they.
All right, why the attachment points.
Okay, so just like Diana, we had a program.
It's just out of order.
Okay,
It's just out of order.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
I'll keep going. So you have a program of projects. Thank you. What's the sheet? 30. Sheet number 30. Thanks, Diane.
You're welcome.
Where the group got together, we ranked the program and the projects that were asked for by the community. And then we categorized them based upon must-haves, highly wanteds, and nice-to-haves. So top 3, roadway lighting improvements. So the roadway lighting improvements, what's going to happen is.
Anybody catch it?
Sorry.
It should be page 30 starts it. It's similar to looking like Diana's, but keep going. Doesn't have it looks like the one Diana had out, but it doesn't have a call. Or it should have been behind that. That's the attachment that goes with
Okay.
Actualize it.
All right, so roadway lighting improvements. So what this sub-project's gonna do is go into the streets that are identified. We're gonna upgrade and verify that the roadway lighting, the street lighting is in conformance with the standards. Yes, sir.
Question. Now, right behind Leanne Drive, there is some kind of development going from Danielsville Road all the way over to 29. I'm trying to understand what roadway improvements, it's Danielsville Road, Leanne Drive, Norwood, something like that. What, wouldn't that be in conjunction with that construction is going on now, or?
So it's my understanding that McClung, I believe, that is where that's going on. And so what the Leanne Drive will do, well, it'll upgrade it. What the request is that we take a look at Leanne Drive independently and make sure that it's in conformance with the lighting
And
standards.
that's lighting.
This is just lighting.
I got you.
Yeah, this is just street
Roadway
lighting.
lighting.
Yeah, that's a pretty established subdivision.
It is.
Yeah, okay.
All, in fact, all of these are probably established areas that have asked for
Okay.
roadway lighting.
All right.
So we're gonna make sure everything's up to standard, and then if there's any additional that's needed, then we'll.
I got you.
The next one is some traffic calming. So a couple of the neighborhoods in North Athens have asked for some traffic calming measures. So again, we're gonna follow the policy with Transportation Public Works. We're gonna verify it versus the residential traffic management plan. And then look at any additional recommendations that can be done based upon the studies over and above. So that's where you've got concepts 2 and 3 on Calvin Street and Birkeland Drive. And the descriptions that go with that.
If you keep going, the drawings for each one of these are the images, the Google images is for like that. But the concept 2 is on page 33.
Third item in the program is to improve Fowler Drive. So we've got some, we had some requests on some tree and some sightlines and.
Yeah.
They've
They've been hauling out there for a long time.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is, again, in conformance with the policies, go out there and study it with the arborist, community forester, and then if any additional recommendations are required, we will take care of it. Freeman Drive at Nowhere Road is the first roadway improvement. What we've got to do with this sub-project is actually engage engineering. So it's my understanding, based upon the community feedback, that speed is an issue, sight distance is an issue, and there was a traffic fatality in 2023. So what we're proposing to do in the sub-project is engage engineering authorization to go out and look at redoing the intersection. Yes, sir.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
On the first one, Pivot Road.
We haven't got there yet, Dale. Well, we're getting ready to get there. That's the next one. That's the next one. But do you have anything at Freeman and Nowhere?
No,
Okay, all right.
So with Freeman and Nowhere, you're improving the lighting, just the goal.
No, so it's gonna be intersection. Yeah, it's gonna be a full intersection, engineering authorization with
Yeah, that's,
that
needs to be.
survey right of way. And a engineering design.
And we'll take whatever the design comes out from the user group. That we don't know whether that's a T intersection change or a roundabout, what comes out of that yet, we don't know.
It really would.
But I'm not suggesting any particular
Not
thing.
always been a proponent of roundabout, but in certain, that would be, to me, that would be a Go ahead.
All right, no, you're okay. I'll take questions as we go. So the next project, concept number 5, Pitted Road at Hull Road. So we've gotten some community feedback on, especially the left turn movement coming out of Pitted Road onto State Route 72 has some issues. So what we're going to do is engage Department of Transportation, the Georgia Department of Transportation first, and then based upon that feedback, engage any traffic studies of any improvements for the intersection.
How does that work with, these projects, merging with anything that GDOT would do? You know, Highway 72, obviously, that's a state highway.
Right.
You know, but some of what we do, TSPLOST, they're applying in there, so.
On state routes. Yeah, so it's a multifaceted approach. So a lot of times, you know, I mean, Department of Transportation has limited funding, just like everybody else, right? So you can engage them for any recommendations and get them to do some studies. And then if funding allows, or if it's on their program or whatever, then sometimes they will do projects based upon that.
Okay.
I think Athens is right now engaged with Department of Transportation at Harvey Mathis Road. Harvey Mathis Roads on the quick response, the QR program. And DOT is getting ready to do a project up there for Athens-Clarke County. So what the hope is that you get enough justification to add something like Pitted at State Route 72 to a GDOT funding source, but if you can't, then you engage the local fund. Go ahead, Daryl. I know you're ready.
I'm on 2 TSPLOST.
Uh-huh.
I'm on this one. I'm on the one that's going on now.
Uh-huh.
You already have something there for Pitted Road on the new one, which is the same thing you got on this one. And I'm like trying to figure out, are you going to tell the new one that that the money allocations? You get what I'm saying? Because you have the project set up for this one, but then you got the same project again coming up
again.
So I'm trying to figure out.
The other one you're on.
Right.
26.
Right.
This intersection has been submitted, but y'all are that group's going through the voting on projects right now. It may or may not make the list, the cut for projects.
I think it's going to.
Okay.
Just kidding.
But if it
does, that's what I'm asking the question.
24 out of the 26 monies,
This money.
more monies in 23.
That's my question. That's my question right there. If it's approved.
If it gets approved on that, we could continue engineering under the 23 program and then have it ready to construct maybe when the 26 money starts. Or if the group, if Mayor Commission said, no, we want to hold off on spending any 23 money, then we could wait and do it in the 26 program. Yeah, we're not going.
No, I'm just trying to figure that one out.
Right.
That it could be, because that's one that I know is probably going to go by. I mean, that was one of the projects that everybody was kind of in agreement on.
But then Mayor Commission may not keep it on.
That's the part. That's beyond my territory right there. That's beyond my territory.
Right. I mean, so you got a lot of unknowns, right? So what we're trying to do is to go ahead and put it on.
Right.
Grants.
That's the only thing I was,
Find some.
how it's gonna be allocated.
And then another thing, so GDOT will allow you to make improvements on their right of way. You just have to go through
them, yeah.
their,
You have to go through a process.
Yeah.
right?
So there's local lets and so it's a whole.
When you make those improvements, are they gonna reimburse you the funds?
Not necessarily. It all depends on, so there's a lot of variables that happen when you're dealing with DOT and their funding sources. And I can't speak for them.
But sometimes sometimes they have the ability to provide equipment, like mastheads or rectangular rapid flashing beacons and things like that, and they can reimburse you for things. It just depends on.
It's
But
possible
there's no
reimbursement
guarantees,
grant.
there's no guarantee on that. There are
I
some
want us to get back to, there's no guarantee.
Okay.
And so what I'm proposing, we're gonna engage them.
Right.
And then the process starts, right?
Okay.
And then decisions can get made,
So we just focus on T-SPLOST.
but we just focus on what we have in front of us, right? All right, proposed project concept number 6, North Avenue at Danielsville Road Bridge. So this is, the bridge, over the loop there. So what the recommendation is that that we reserve $2 million out of the program for engineering, for, the engineering of the bridge there. It's, again, another hot topic in the 26 referendum, right?
Involved in the last one too.
That one has a high chance of passing.
So it's my understanding right now, because of the re-ranking system that Georgia Department of Transportation has done, that the bridge has been ranked as in good condition as far as GDOT's considered. So they don't have it on their replacement schedule. So what staff is asking us to do within the program is reserve some money for engineering so that we can go ahead and start the engineering process. And so that it looks priority to Athens-Clarke County that something be done at this bridge.
And again, if it is on the referendum for the next one, you could start engineering with this money and then pick it up with the next program. Or you could somehow, go all the way through with this funding if you wanted, but you don't have to, and that's just kind of left to be determined.
I thought I understood that grant was a real possibility of getting that done outside of T-SPLOST.
So the grant itself was for North Avenue and it excluded the bridge.
Okay.
Excuse the bridge.
Yeah.
But on another level that, they are highly recommending that bridge gets done because when they seen the idea that how the roadway is done and people have to walk in the middle of the street.
Mhm.
And, there's no walk nowhere where nobody can walk or a bike can go through. So the people's like, this is extremely too dangerous. So I think that's one that's probably gonna, so if you mentioned that y'all wanted to put the 2 million on it.
Up to 2 million
Right.
reserved in this program for.
Right, if you tell them that, that makes it even higher priority.
Yeah, because the engineering is going to cost quite a bit.
Right, because they really looking at that very heavy, because that's one bridge that they don't like the idea that they seeing these people walking across the street. But
How old is that bridge? Is it a 20-year? Has it been that long? Yeah.
I don't know the age of it, but
Oh, I'm sure it's older than that. It's been there for at least that.
I'm trying to ask the commission to ask for more money, especially with our bucket in North Avenue. The bucket that we had, I'm asking our commission to put at least $1 million from our bucket on, so.
what this is the 2 million. This is 2 million is coming from this North Athens bucket.
Oh, from our bucket?
Mhm.
Oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
we already gave the money now, I ain't got nothing to say.
This is coming
But
out.
it's coming out of that's what I had recommended. I recommended that for some, but, a county commissioner didn't get back with me on that. I did recommend that.
All right, continuing on, proposed project concept number 7, so whole road safety improvements. So what this will do is fill in the sidewalk gap from Danielsville Road up to where you've got racetrack and you've got a development that's already in place. There's a sidewalk gap there. And so what we're recommended to do is to go ahead and start the engineering survey right away for that effort. Any questions? Next proposed project concept number 8, Isla Road safety improvements. So this is a stretch of Isla Road between Danielsville Road and Norwood Lane. I think based on the image you see there, it's already being used. So what we want to do is go ahead and engineer it and see what we can do to safe that up. And then number 9, residential pedestrian access. So the proposed project concepts for number 9 are for Monty Drive, Kenwood Drive, and Mercer Lane. I think that neighborhood is asking for sidewalks to get to the school and places in between. So it's identified on the Athens in Motion plan. And so the group wanted to bring it for approval so that we can go ahead and start engineering it as well. Any additional questions?
This is project 9 that you're funding.
Yes, ma'am.
So the little grid for the Athens in Motion, is that separate or addition?
I put that little grid on that for the Athens in Motion on there to show you that it was identified.
Oh, okay, on the,
Yeah. It's
the
identified.
highlighted one. I'm just looking at, okay.
And so similar to the project, the Jefferson, Prince Jefferson that Diana went over is, we don't have an estimate though on cost for these yet. But our best knowledge to date would be that this will far exceed the money available in the project. So we'll work down this list in priority order. As far as it goes, largely how that list yet to depend on how much of that up to $2 million for design is allocated out of here, because that takes a big chunk out of construction dollars to do allocate. It does come to fruition at all $2 million. So, again, we're looking for confirmation that this meets the project statement that is written to you, that's page 45 of 57.
There's that. Okay, I have a motion on the floor that, second, approve and, have a second, Darryl. Okay, all in favor? All opposed? Okay.
All righty.
Thank you all.
So as we said last time, we're not printing in as part of the package, the detailed summaries. Y'all have those. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. The revenue for 2018 and expenses.
The full packet was sent online.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I've been out of town traveling, but I'm going to sit down and look at it.
And it's on the website
Yeah.
agenda. It's after. So the 23 program, we're still well ahead of elections, so we're about 14 million ahead. So we do still anticipate the program get ready for the program in 2026. Their group's moving forward right now. So
I'm lazy a little bit, but do you happen to know offhand what kind of development that is going up behind Tallahassee Club Villas out there? It's a new apartment complex or?
if it's not one of our projects, I don't.
I know that, I know they had started, it appears that they had started the improvements on the sidewalk and bus thing at the, is that, goes in the Opera Town, see,
Can't do an aspect.
but anyway.
I got followed. So,
Yeah, but anyway, they're starting a new development. They're clearing it out for something back there. You know what I'm talking
What
about.
about the solid food plant? The bridge.
Yeah, going into, Westchester. Yeah.
Going into Westchester, there is a new residential development right off on that intersection of Westchester and Tallahassee.
Okay.
On that side where we done the concept for sidewalks.
Right.
coming in.
That's
So
what I
we'll,
There's also the mental health, right?
well, mental health is at the other end at Mitchell Bridge.
That's why.
But Westchester and Tallahassee is residential development that I don't know what size home, but they're all going to face Westchester. And so they'll be putting in sidewalks on that side where you looked at a project concept for that as part of our project. We won't, obviously, we'll wait and let them do that.
Right.
We're working on, we just start our design past where their development is. And if something happens and it falls through, we'll come back and fill it in.
They done a
Looks like
mega-
it's going.
Yeah, they done a mega subdivision, but right behind mine too. They are.
Yeah.
Yeah, out there off of, Barn Road and, Palisade back in there.
Right, yeah.
I didn't even think that much space was back there, but.
Back there.
Oh, when they just cleared off.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Nobody knew that much back there.
But one of our homeowners association guys that keep knowing, I think it's close to maybe 100 homes going up back there.
There's a lot of growth in that, right?
Yeah, and it ain't that street ain't going up. I mean, it's already violent.
Trying to take a left
It's
turn
bad.
out of
It's bad there, but it is what it is.
Any questions on the reports? Anybody have?
I don't have. Anybody else got anything? Yeah. Good to see you, bro.
Next meeting would be July 21st. We would not have a June meeting because Mayor and Commission is not having they're not having a voting meeting in July, so we wouldn't have the concept in June. So
July 21st.
July 21st would be our next proposed meeting.
If there's, I'll call this meeting